So with that, we'll turn it over to Subhojit and talk about EPM patch and endpoint security.
Hey, Todd, thanks. Thanks again. So, we are going to talk about EPM patch and endpoint security, what was delivered in our last release, to give a summary about that, the main features. Todd, if you can move to the next one. So, this was a very important feature for us, Windows patch support for ARM technologies. So, a lot of customers were asking about this for improved patch support on Windows on ARM, so support for Windows 11, 24H2, ARM 64 or later. Definition works on Windows 11 on ARM OS and applications. So supporting patch ARM64 devices running on Windows 11 24H2, ARM64 or later versions. So that was one of the major feature that we had on the last release. Moving to the next one. Support filter Microsoft preview definitions. So with this, the current lack of filter for Microsoft preview definition releases affect the EPM admin user experience, requiring manual effort to locate and exclude these updates after content download. So this feature would streamline and update the management of EPM admins by reducing the manual efforts. Moving to the next one. So we are going to talk about what's upcoming in 2024 SC4 in our upcoming release. Yeah, support for latest OS. So Apple and Microsoft have released new versions lately in Q3 or early Q4 for each of this in the past 4 years. So we are looking to provide support for this new OSs, and admins can provide patch support as their organization upgrade to the latest version. So we are mainly focusing on Mac OS Tahoe and Windows 11 25H2. Yeah, this is one of the important features from the patch side, again, asked by a lot of our customers. So uninstalling options for the patch definitions. So Ivanti EPM currently lacks native support for uninstalling deployed patches, leaving admins with no choice but to manually uninstall patches or create custom scripts. So this feature would enable native patch installation for Ivanti EPM, allowing admins to easily roll back patches through the console. It would help in saving time, reducing errors, and enhancing the overall patch management experience. So I thought we'd move to a short demo on this. So, yep. So as you could see, we on this we are demoing the ability to disable the replace rules. So we have done the changes in two different places. Disable replace rules. Customer can select the number of days. Now we are showing the difference between the old UI and the new one. In the old, we had earlier two options, and now the third option has been added, as you could see. So in this case, we have added the notepad patches in the scan global folders. If I need to scan only the last 30 days patches and replace the older ones, I will now have an ability to replace it, for example, older than 30 days, and then click on start. As we this has now disabled all the older ones with 30 days. So latest ones are in scan and the older ones are replaced. So in the second place, as you could see here, where you have made the changes in the download sections in the definitions. Yep. So creating a new one, as you could see inside the scan folder, we had added the third option, disable all replace rule older than 30 days. In this case, for this example, we're taking 30 days. And now we're also going to show you how the old UI would look, which had only two options, as you could see. So now we are keeping this for 30 days and we're going to initiate the downloading of patches. And you'll be able to see gradually how we are able to replace the Notepad++ patches here. Yep. So we are disabling this rule here. 30 days we've given as an option. And we'll be able to see that the patches are getting downloaded in the backend. And this is in the backend, we could see the XML tags are getting added, where we have added a 30 days new definition, right, in this particular scenario. So delaying the rules by 30 days. So we've added the XML tag in the backend as well. And in the meanwhile, as the definitions get replaced, as this gets completed, we will also show you some changes that we have made in the backend. Yep. So yeah, this is picking up the 32 days definitions that we had. So this is replacing the definitions by 32 days. And we could see that all the Notepad++ files, as you could see on the screen, are getting replaced with the newer ones.
Hi, everyone. For security controls, our focus has been to make sure that we keep striving to maintain the legacy that this product has as one of the leading patch management system that it has been for over the years for our on-prem customers. Hence, we continue to add value and try and close the competitive gaps and add the most requested features, one of them being the new REST APIs that our team is developing, close to 15 of them, which will allow the customers to import and publish custom data, patch data into Ivanti security controls that they can use in their tools as well as in their solutions, automated, orchestrated to utilize these new REST APIs, which we think would be a more modern and popular way of using patch management solutions in the coming years. So the major focus has been on developing this particular feature, and customers can now seamlessly deploy in-house software updates by uploading custom patches with metadata through the API, leveraging their existing Ivanti security controls infrastructure. So this problem regarding the missing and installed package visibility was a complaint from many customers. And while we were able to see the count of the advisory patches there, but it was not clearly visible that which are the ones among them that are exactly missing out or not installed. So the customers had issues drilling down to the exact particular package that they want to deploy. This work now will resolve that issue and will definitely provide a more transparent and user-friendly experience for the customers when they are reviewing package advisories, and then they can address all the missing patches and deploy the ones on the required devices. Let's move forward to the patch for Configuration Manager, which is our plugin that gets attached to the Microsoft product System Center Configuration Manager, wherein we are now adding the capability to view the architecture for the patches, whether they have ARM64 compatibility or not. So what we will notice that there will be an additional column in the console that will clearly distinguish whether that particular patch has ARM compatibility or not, what is the correct associated architecture with that particular patch. So the customers can easily select and view ARM native patches and deploy them on the respective devices. Let's move forward. Another feature that is coming forth is to maintain a more consistent and improved UI experience for the P4CM plugin. So we had this ability within System Center Configuration Manager to browse through the different network locations, but we were not able to do that using the P4CM plugin, which we will be able to do now, and automatically browse to the respective network locations. Some of the examples are listed on the screen without an issue to provide a seamless experience for the P4CM admins as well as the SSM admins.
Earlier this year, Ivanti Neurons for Patch Management released a number of very significant updates to the platform, including maintenance windows, ring deployment, and rollback. For this release, we're going to enhance some of those newer capabilities and the overall administrator experience, really quality of life improvements, make it easier to manage, easier to navigate. You'll see a really good example of this. One of the new features we're providing is the ability to do multi-device patch rollback. Now, when we introduced the rollback capability just a few months ago, the initial solution required you to roll back. You could only roll back one patch per device at a time. Well, if you think about the use case where you have a patch that is a bad patch, you install it on a machine, it needs to be rolled back. If it's a bad patch, it probably needs to be rolled back from multiple devices. So you could, with the previously, you would have to roll those back one at a time. But here you can see you can select that same patch for multiple devices, and you have an action now to roll back all of those simultaneously without having to do them one at a time. Another enhancement we're making to the administrator experience is by providing greater visibility to device groups. We're seeing that more and more our customers are using device groups to manage their environments. It's just a lot easier than managing individual devices. Well, now, as you'll see in this upper graphic, we now have a little icon that goes against the device name that shows that it belongs to a device group. And there's a number next to it that shows how many devices, how many device groups that device belongs to. Now, if you were to select that number, you will see the overlay in the lower graphic here. The overlay shows which device groups it belongs to. We've also included some search features so that you can, if you want to see if a particular device group it belongs to, and certainly there could be a lot of device groups for a particular device. Another enhancement we're making, again, to ring assignments. This was just a reminder for ring deployments, was a solution we introduced to enable phased rollouts. So you don't want to roll out a patch to all your devices simultaneously. Well, this will give you a systematic method of rolling about to your test environment. Once it's successfully deployed in your test environment, then you can roll it out to your early adopters and finally to your production environment once you know that that patch is safe to deploy. Well, we're making an enhancement to this that is going to make it easier for administrators to assign devices to particular rings. With the initial release of this some 6 months ago or so, it required individual devices to be added to a ring one at a time. Well, if you have a lot of devices, as you can imagine, that can be very time consuming. It was always our intention to expand the capability so that you can add device groups to a ring. So no longer do you need to add individual devices to a ring. You just need to add your devices to a device group and then associate that device group with a ring, and it will automatically propagate that ring. Now, if you see in the upper graphic here, we have a couple of things. First of all, we've added a little bit more visibility into how many devices are available in each ring or assigned to each ring. We've also added a new page, which is called Ring Assignments. And when you select that, you get this new page, which allows you to select device groups to be aligned with a ring assignment. Now, once a device group has been assigned to a ring, whenever a device is added to that group, it automatically gets added to the associated ring. Next page, please. Also, with ring deployment, we've enhanced ring scheduling. This was one little bit of a surprise to us when we originally deployed the ring deployment solution. It never occurred to us that people would need more than 30 days, a full month, to deploy a patch. Well, it turns out many people do, and what we see, quite honestly, is that they go over 2 months or so. So we're actually going to be expanding the time period that a ring deployment can occur up to 90 days, 3 months to deploy a patch. And then along with that, we have some additional time for the soak time. Previously, this was limited to 7 days. Now we're going to allow soak time for ring deployment to go up to 30 days. And the final addition for this enhancement to enabling flexible ring scheduling is on the endpoint. So the endpoint devices now can be offline during a ring deployment. Well, how that works is prior to the deployment time period, patches can be downloaded to the endpoint where they are staged. And then if that device were to go offline for any reason during the ring deployment time period, the agent would still execute the deployment of those patches. And you can see the agent information here in the lower graphic, which showcases both that the patches have been downloaded and also that they are being executed at the expected time. And finally, the other addition we're adding to Ivanti Neurons for Patch is the ability to add patch groups, add to patch groups from multiple locations. Now, with the current edition, you have to go to Patch Intelligence, then you can add patches to patch groups. Well, now we're going to be adding the ability that from wherever you actually see a list of patches or CVEs, to directly add them to a patch group. Now, you can see here in the graphic that we have a number of selected patches. This is in the devices patches page. And we have a new selectable button here called patch groups, where you can add them specifically to whatever patch group you want directly from that page without having to navigate back to Patch Intelligence. So with that, let me give you a little live demo. This is as an example of that last one I was talking about. I am in the devices page, and I've selected the devices. I'm looking at the patches for that devices. We have a number here. I've sorted it by the status. We have a number here that are missing. I can select any of these patches that I want that are missing. And then I can go over to patch groups here, and I can directly add to a patch group. Now, we also have this filter feature here. So if you're looking for a specific specific patch group, let's say test, I'm sure we have a lot of test here, but here we go. Anything that has the word test in it will show up, and that helps you narrow it down so you can search for the patch group that you're looking for. Another one I can showcase here, we have in looking at the deployment history. Here's an example of the patch rollback, the multi-select on the patch rollback. For those of you who have used this feature, you'll know that we have these little circle icons that indicate if a patch may be rolled back. Again, previously, you would have to select each one of those individually. Now, if you can select the same patch for multiple devices, and then you can select patch rollback, and it'll allow you select to roll back all of those patches simultaneously. This little confirmation screen, and then you would hit confirm, and it would roll those back. Additionally, for the device group, here is that little icon I was talking about before. Now, anywhere you see a device name, you will see an icon and the number of device groups that device belongs to. Here's one with 4, for example. So we have 4 device groups here. If you have a large number, you can search for them. You can also sort by device group or by group type as well to help identify which groups those belong to. So this brings that visibility into multiple pages. Now I'll say for this initial release, this particular feature is included in the endpoint vulnerability page as well as the compliance reporting page. Next quarter, we will also be introducing support for the deployment history and patch intelligence page, which will provide additional visibility into this device groups. And then finally, on the ring deployment side, here's an example of, we'll go into here, and you can see here, for example, in this particular ring deployment configuration, we have 2 devices in the test group, 6 devices in the early adopter, and 1 device in the production. This is now very clear. This will help administrators identify that appropriate balance between the targeted ring deployments. With a 3-ring deployment used today, we typically advise 1% of devices in the test group, 9% of devices in early adopter, and 90% of devices in the production. So you'll be able to balance those. You'll see those visually on there. We also have this new ring assignments button that I mentioned earlier, and then when you select that, you get this new page with a list of device groups. We have a toggle switch here. If you don't want to use device groups, that's fine. Just turn it off. I suspect most people will want to use the device groups because it'll make it much easier to manage the ring deployments. So then from here, you may select which devices you want to put in which groups. Let's say we want to put those into the production group. You can then hit apply, and that would put it in that production group. We could also say we have a test group here. We probably want to put that in the test ring. And again, once you hit apply, those get applied as well. Alternatively, if you want to clear it out of a ring, you can clear it directly from there. Once a device group has been associated with a ring, again, it will dynamically populate that ring. So if any devices are added to that device group, it automatically updates that ring. So with that, that's where we are today. That's the exciting stuff we have coming up.
I wanted to give you a quick update on what's going on with our patch content catalog. The guys did talk about ARM native applications and want to kind of give you a heads up on what's going on there. So obviously we support ARM on Windows 11 24H2 systems. And what we're doing is we're slowly rolling out ARM native application updates there. We have a number of apps that are still remaining to be added to our catalog, which we'll be doing over the next couple of weeks here. So you can see the list of the remaining apps there. We are continuing, of course, to support any kind of third-party applications running in emulation mode. Those are updated as normal today. So we're making good progress on our ARM support. You can see new patch products that we've added here since our last innovator preview meeting. Nmap is back. It was dropped off of our catalog for about 2 years because they didn't support silent install there for a long time. But it is back, and we are adding it again. Greenshot is also back. It was not supported for the longest time, and now it's being added back in. One thing to be aware of is this is installed both as system level as well as it can be installed user level as well. We're supporting the system level install today. We do have the feature coming up in the next couple of quarters here where we're adding in some additional user applications. So those will be coming. But in the meantime, just working at the system level. A couple of ARM64 updates here. You see we've added in Wireshark and Chrome. And our latest add here has been the Xerox Workspace Cloud Client. So continuing to expand our catalog on both the Windows and Mac side. Also be aware, new versions that have come out recently, continuing to update those as well in our catalog. A lot of times these are somewhat treated as new products as the vendors sometimes change their update methods. So we have to be very careful when we add new products. A lot of work involved in that, but we are continuing, of course, to add new major versions as they come out in our product set.
So to give you a recap on what was delivered last quarter in Q3, we had enabled on the integration side, we enabled auto ticketing for our ITSM, Ivanti ITSM, Azure DevOps connectors. We also delivered GitHub Advanced Security connector. And also on the features side, right? So we enable CVSS, the latest version, V4 score, along with the CVs that we replaced. And we brought in the ability to configure the security values, basically based on various factors. We gave the users the ability to increase, decrease severity by a certain percentage. So, and notification side, every quarter we do this. Based on feedback we receive, we keep adding specific notification types. So last time, what we did is, so we add a notification type which will alert whenever there is an automated ticketing that gets disabled. Okay, in line with the auto ticketing enhancements we did, we thought this would be a good enhancement that will eliminate oversight. Okay, so with that, I'll proceed to what we are delivering in Q4. Again, 3 categories primarily. One, of course, we are doing integrations. As you might be knowing, RBBM predominantly works. We have around 70 plus integrations spreading across network scanners, application scanners, ticketing systems, CMDBs, etc. So this time, what we are adding is we have added the ability in our Ivanti ITSM connector to map the priority of tickets that gets created on ITSM side, the ability to map them to the risk metrics on RBBM side. I'll be showing you shortly how this looks like. But what this gives is, this gives the ability for the users to configure and dynamically assign priority to the tickets based on risk metric, the service, a static value. So additional to that, one more enhancement we have done on the auto ticketing side, that is the unique configurable export. So this is providing an ability to further customize. Basically, there are ticketing attachments which goes whenever an auto ticketing is enabled. So we added one more layer of customization there. I'll be showing you shortly. So again, coming to the notification side, we added a new notification type for role expiration. And on the workflow side, we had a new feature where users can assign specific approvers for their workflows they create. And these approvers get automatically notified. Okay. First, like I was telling, the first enhancement on the integration side is how do you prioritize or how do you assign the right priority for the tickets that are created from RBBM? So what we did is we gave users a couple of options. One, either you pick our virtual vulnerability risk rating, which is called VRR. So you can either map VRR or the severity levels to the ITSM priority levels, Ivanti ITSM priority levels. So what would happen is based on the findings risk metric, that is either VRR or severity, automatically your designated priority gets assigned to the ticket that gets created on Ivanti ITSM. So what this gives users is it gives users the additional capability and to assign the relevant priority to the tickets, so that the administrators on the IT side pick them up based on the relevant priority. Okay. Additional to that, I'll try to explain it with this way. So again, custom export templates is again related to the same auto ticketing functionality. Okay. So what would happen is whenever you enable auto ticketing for any collection, so in RBBM, you have the ability to create findings collections. So what would happen is whenever you enable auto ticketing, any new finding that comes, there will be a ticket that gets automatically created. You can configure that. Okay? That's what we did last quarter. So now what we are saying is, so last quarter when we did it, the ticketing attachment template was pretty static. Whatever you define while you're configuring the character, that is it. Okay. But this time what we are giving is, okay, every time you configure a collection for auto ticketing, you can provide a new customized template. Okay. We are giving that additional level of flexibility to the users. Okay. For every collection, you can have a different or a unique template. Okay. Unique template that goes and sits as an attachment to the ticket. So that's about it on the integrations. Moving on. So on the notifications, the feedback we received is, yes, whenever a role expires, a heads up, in terms of a notification that a specific client role is expiring is what was requested. And this notification type, when users subscribe to this, they have the options to get notified. For example, those users who have the responsibility for privileged user management, okay, can subscribe to this notification type. So whenever a client role is getting expired, they can get notified 1 week, 2 weeks in advance, or even a day in advance, so that there is no oversight or there is no impact to the operations by a user's role getting expired and losing access to the platform. So along with this, we did some usability changes as well. Okay, we have user dashboards. Now we provided the ability to sort those dashboards in terms of alphabetical order or creation date. Okay, so this is again on the usability side. So these two are from notifications and usability, automation capabilities. So workflows in RBBM platform, you can create a workflow for acceptance, risk acceptance. You can create a workflow for false positives. You can create a workflow for remediation. There are different workflow types. Okay. But the feedback we receive from customers is, hey, sometimes it so happens we had to communicate to the approvers outside the RBBM platform to make sure the workflows get approved. Okay. Reason could be they're not logging in frequently into the platform. It could be whatever. Okay. So that based on that feedback, what we did is we gave the workflow creators the ability to tag up to 3 approvers, meaning I can specifically say, okay, here are my supervisors, A, B, and C, their names, I can specifically tag them. So what would happen is, irrespective of whether they are subscribed to a notification related to workflow approval status or not, we ensure those tagged approvers receive notifications. So this is a bit unique because this is the first time till now. How the notifications work in RBBM is everyone has to subscribe to a specific notification type. Only then they will receive notifications. Okay, but this is an exception. If someone tags you as an approver, no matter what, you get a notification. That's how we have done it. And one more improvement we did it is, we have this system view of CISA KEVs with exploitable vulnerabilities. Okay. So till now, this was the updation of this system view or system filter is manual in nature. Now what we did is, again, this comes in from the efficiency point of view. So we automated this, meaning whenever CISA pushes or publishes new KVs, the system view due to this enhancement gets automatically updated, okay, without any manual intervention. Okay. So benefit to the user, as soon as CISA publishes the KVs, immediately they get to see them in RBBM's system view. Okay. That's about it. So now users had to provide priority values when they configure the integration or the connector setup. But what we are now providing is an ability to map either the VRR scores or severity scores and provide the relevant mapping when it comes to the priority. So I can say if it is critical, I need top priority for this. Okay, even I should be top priority. So I can provide a mapping between the risk metrics on my RBBM finding side to the ITSM tickets. Okay. So with this, every time a ticket is created automatically based on the underlying risk metric, that is VRR or severity, the priority gets assigned to the ITSM ticket. That's the first thing. Okay. So the second enhancement, again, on the integration side, we are showing is related to auto ticketing. Okay. So, like I said, in RBBM, you can enable auto ticketing like ITSM, any ticketing system. I can enable auto ticketing for any collection of findings. Okay. So if a new finding gets added to the collection, a ticket gets automatically created. But so last quarter is run, like I was telling you, we delivered this. This is available for Ivanti ITSM. This is available for Azure DevOps, ServiceNow, and Jira. Okay. On this demo purpose, I'll try to show you the additional customization what we have done. Okay. So this quarter, what we're doing is by configuring this, so every time a ticket gets created, we can specify which feeds from the finding host details or host finding details can go as an attachment to the ticket that gets created. So till now, it was sort of inherited from the connector setup, like I was telling you. You just, whatever you defined while setting up the connector, that was it. Okay. This time, we are providing the additional flexibility of configuring a new template for every collection. Okay. Whenever you are trying to enable auto ticketing. Okay. I can very well say, I need the specific fields to be attached to the ticket for this specific finding collection. Okay. So this is the additional level of flexibility we are providing. That's so integration side, pretty much rest everything stays the same. I'm going to submit this. And I'll quickly show you the new notification types we have added in RBBM this quarter. Okay. So role expiry notification, it will show you a sample. So whenever a client role nears expiry, I have the option to configure notification to say, okay, when is that I want to be notified when a client role gets expired. Okay. I have the options 1 week, 2 weeks, or a day in advance. I have the options to set this up, subscribe to this notification type, and get an alert. So the usability changes I was referring to, we show them. So yeah, so this is the so till now there is no sorting as such. Every time you create a shade dashboard, it just comes up appended. But now we are saying, okay, you know what, you can sort it by alphabetical order, name or created date. This is a minor change from usability perspective. So 3 areas again. Integration side, we did some improvements, mainly focused on auto ticketing and configurability and notifications, new notification types. And of course, the last one is workflows. I'll quickly show you what we did in workflows. So now, whenever you create a workflow, like I said, you can create workflow for all these 4 outcomes in RBBM. So now like I said, there is an optional field now, if you see, for selecting or tagging the approvers. Okay. You can tag up to 3 approvers and say these people should be automatically notified. They are, irrespective of whether they're subscribed to this specific notification type or not, they should be notified. Okay. So whenever you create the workflow, these people will get notified that a specific workflow is waiting your approval. Okay. Again, the reason being, we got feedback saying that most of the times these are supervisors and not logging into the platform so much, and they might not be already subscribed to the notification type. So can you address this? So that's the feedback we received. So what this happens is automatically in the backend, we check even if these users who are selected as approvers, even if they do not have any subscribe notification, we enable it for them automatically, and we ensure they are notified about the workflow that is waiting approval from them. That's pretty much it from RBBM and ESM side of the house. So try to give you a quick recap on what we delivered last quarter for EASM. So we placed onboarding widgets. So for customers who newly purchased EASM, to make sure to nudge them into taking the right action to start the EASM assessment, external attack surface assessment. Okay, we placed these onboarding widgets in the Neurons homepage. Okay, so what it has a direct call to action. So basically, the entire assessment starts with a seed asset. It could be a domain, it could be a URL, it could be a registration certificate, anything. So basically, we nudge them to add a domain so that the entire discovery process starts. So this is one. And along with that, so we also delivered, what we did is we enabled the ability to generate EASM reports in our unified reports workflow. So if you can see, Neurons report will now has patch management and external attack surface management. You should be able to generate reports from this common workflow. Basically, with this additional capabilities like the ability to schedule reports and email reports are available for the users. So this is what we delivered. These are the key features from our last quarter deliverables. Ability to, so again, this is what I spoke about. So when we provide these community scanning options by nuclei templates, it gives additional flexibility to the security admins, security analysts to run these on a demand basis based on the asset type, based on specific templates they need, and make sure if at all there is any zero day that is reported, if someone makes available this open source template, they get this ability to quickly detect those vulnerabilities. So along with that, we also improved our exposure data grid, meaning in EASM, we have assets data set, exposures data set, technologies data set. So the feedback we received is age of exposure is something that is very important. Okay, ability to see in the data grid. Okay, every exposure you report shows the age. It is like in the environment, like it's 10 days, 15 days, etc. And along with it, we also are tagging the services or ports associated with the exposure. Okay. Yeah, so that's pretty much from the exposure augmentation side. Okay. Now, what we did for improving the error messaging in EASM is we added checks to prevent abuse. So basically, when someone adds domains, like for example, of enterprises, like big enterprises, which are not in line with their business use case, like if someone adds a Microsoft.com or Amazon.com, that's really not something we want. So we added these abuse prevention checks where the user gets notified saying that, okay, certain domain is blocked. We can't connect the assessments on those because of the risks involved. Okay. And also because ESM based on this is awesome technology, you can't really do this on any domain and invite these risks, right? So that's why these checks are put in place. And also one more feedback we received is specific to the security insights tool used by our partner. There is a specific feedback we received is whenever there are failures from this assessment, the error messages are not very specific. Okay, they are very generic, is what we received as a feedback. So there are typical examples where this external attack surface assessment could fail is when the DNS server is not responding, or let us say a web application firewall FAF is blocking the assessment. It could happen. Okay, so what we're also doing, okay, as a part of improving our filtering functionality, we are working on something like a free text editor. If you see the existing EASM product, what you have on quick filters on drop downs, okay, which are user friendly, good, but we thought for a tech savvy security analyst, right, we can provide a free text editor, okay. So we have started this work, okay, and probably it still has some more elements to be incorporated. So maybe advanced filtering is what we intend to deliver in the coming few weeks, of course. Okay, we are almost through this. We are 80% done. Okay, but the experience we want for a tech-savvy security analyst is ability to apply AND conditions or conditions and do this nested loops kind of a thing. Okay, it is taking time, more time than expected, but we are very much on track, and we love to provide this kind of experience to an advanced filtering functionality, probably in the coming few weeks. This is slightly delayed, but we are on track, and yeah, probably in a few weeks of time, this should be available. So firstly, I'll try to show you on the scanning, community scanning options here. Okay. So last quarter, like I was telling you, what we delivered is this kind of onboarding widgets. Okay. So as soon as you log into your Neurons platform, you'll find this kind of widgets nudging you to add a seed and taking you to the seed section of EASM. Okay. Specific call to action. Okay. So in line with this, this quarter, we added community scanning options. So what this gives you is the additional ability. Let us say I want to filter out all SSL certificates in my asset inventory, and I want to run these scans, right? It's specific templates related to SSL, right? So let me pick up a So you'll get to see all these templates, okay, which includes checks for mismatch, revoke, expired, or self-signed, etc. All possible weaknesses or vulnerabilities, or when weaknesses in cybersecurity. So all these are put together by security researchers or white hat analysts, okay? And we get the ability to run all these templates on the specific asset types, okay? This is one example. Even I can go back and say, I can run DNS-related checks on my hosts, okay? We can let you filter out some of the DNS servers which I have, and select these, and I'll go to community scans, and I'll pick up the templates which are specific to DNS. And let us say, for example, I want to run some DMARC checks. Okay, I can select this template, same DNA security detections, the latest. I can select. I can say, okay, these are the two templates I want to run on these assets. Yeah, I can do that. So what happens is, like I said, this is in addition to the weekly automatic scans that happen already, meaning even if you don't run this community scanning options, you are still covered. Okay. This just gives you the additional flexibility to run these scans on demand. Okay. So said that, talking about, I can quickly show you what it will replace. Okay. Like I was saying. So in the assets data set, you had the speak filters. What we're working on, which should be available shortly in the next few weeks, is the ability to write free text, simple SQL style queries instead of these drop downs, and giving you the security analysts more flexibility in terms of applying and or even nested loops. Okay, instead of this quick or a mostly fixed experience where you can select values from the drop downs. Yeah, so we are developing a new free text editor, okay, which will sort of replace this, meaning users will have the ability to switch between both, as this is still in development. I'm not able to show the actual experience, but very soon we'll be opening it up for beta, and probably we can invite some of you to test and provide feedback to us on it. Okay. So from EASM side, that's pretty much I have